welcome to another session of our podcast. And today with me, I have got Ben. He is the co-founder and CEO at Ginzi. Hi, Ben.
Hi, really great to have the opportunity to be here and really looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you. Okay, Ben, this is what I would like to do. I'm not going to steal the limelight or I'm not going to steal your thunder. But you remember the conversation that we had before the podcast, the last time when we met and you introduced me to Ginzi? First of all, I would also have to apologize. I called it Ginzi. That's not the right way to call it. It is Ginzi. So tell us a bit more about Ginzi. And the thing that I think our listeners would be very interested would be the AI aspect of Ginzi, which we will touch upon a bit later. But if you can give us a brief summary about what Ginzi is, please.
Totally. So what we do at Ginzi is we enable customer support and customer experience teams to answer each question only once. So one of the things which we identified was that repetitive tasks are a big part of what customer support teams do. So obviously, teams do have macros, template answers, etc. And yet still the process of creating them and then the agents actually being able to use them in the context of the conversation is a big challenge. So with Ginzi, teams are able to basically really generate the answers on an ongoing basis. And instead of having to write answers from scratch, find the right macro, etc., all they need to do is use Ginzi. Now, from an AI perspective, so basically, what we've been able to do is combine between a few elements of AI. So on the one hand, we've got a clustering model, which is unique to us, which is basically able to say, for your specific company, these are the repetitive questions which are recurring. And once we've identified them, so based on answers which agents have given in the past, we're able to actually also generate answers. And that also includes a generative AI component. So actually, there are different elements of AI which are included in our solution. And looking forward to having the opportunity to expand around that throughout the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. When you first discussed this idea with me, do you know what came to my mind? This is how I do it even today, for example. So if there is a repetitive answer that I have to give somebody, I type it, store it on a Word document or an Excel sheet, copy paste it from there, change the names, for example, or change the information that goes in there, and then send it out. I don't think the amount of time it would have taken me to go locate that file, copy that answer, paste it, and edit it, I think I could have typed a new answer during that time. So I don't see the process that the old process that I'm following being as efficient. Now, is that the kind of problem that Ginzi solves for customer service teams?
Totally. So one of the components of the product is taking any answer, either it's a template answer or an answer which an agent has given in the past. And when we match it to a new question which enters the system, we're able to contextualize it. So really make it in the context of the conversation, obviously also change the personal information, etc., so that it fits the flow of the conversation. But even more importantly, actually make the tone and the way in which the answer is presented flow as part of the conversation. So one of the things which we've realized that teams spend a lot of time doing is editing answers so that it doesn't sound like a bot. From a customer perspective, we're all very familiar with it, that with not liking to receive, so none of us like to receive answers which we feel that they've just been generated by a bot. It's been copy pasted type of thing. So we're able to really prevent that by just simply contextualizing the answers in the conversations. And that's a big part of what we do. A lot of our customers, out of all the features, that was one of the ones which they were most excited about.
Talk me through, how did you get this idea? Because that's going to be an interesting story. You know, it's one of those problems that everybody faces, but you are the one who's come up or thought about a solution for it. So can you just expand a bit more about how did you get that idea? How did you expand upon that?
Well, I think that when a startup, when building a startup, it's an incredibly iterative process. So you start with one idea or one very high level idea, and as you roll with it, you identify the faults with the initial idea, you move on to the next one. So there were several iterations until we actually landed and really identified the product market fit. And I think that what was clear to us from day one, and it's always been very important from our perspective, was that we want to help companies improve the service which they create for their customers. And that was really our starting point. And as we went through the process of identifying the product market fit, we identified that here lied a huge area of pain. Obviously, with new developments in technology, some of the things which we attempted to build and now really becoming realistic and generating value much quicker than we expected. And that's, something which we're super excited about.
Oh, fantastic. That makes sense, because as you just said, and this is the kind of the trend that I'm coming across with startups is, once you locate a problem, once you identify something that's a pain in the, I shouldn't be saying that word, but pain in the back, this is where there could be a solution, and it just takes somebody to think about what that solution could be. Okay, Ben, one of the main reasons to get you on this podcast was to discuss something which is really hot and trending in the CX, CS domain right now, which is AI, right? There are a lot of people who are concerned, and in a good way, when it comes to implementing AI. There are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of advantages, there are a lot of disadvantages. For somebody who has been in the domain for a long time and wants to implement AI, what would you suggest should be their thought process? Any hints or tips? How should they think? It's not a case of just go get something and plug it along. What should be the thought process for our CX leaders who are listening to the podcast?
Right. So I actually think that the first thing which a team need to go and check is their recurring ticket ratio. So to what extent are the questions customers are asking you recurring? Okay. If questions aren't recurring, so ultimately the value which AI is going to be able to generate is going to be limited. It will be able to help you with rephrasing answers, boosting the content, the context, the content, etc. But you're not going to be able to get AI to start generating few answers, because the things which AI is able to do is basically learn the recurring cases, sometimes fill in missing answers. But if it's not recurring, the value you're going to be able to generate is limited. On the other hand, and this is, I think, is the large majority of customer support teams, when tickets are recurring, that is the clear sign that AI needs to be implemented as soon as possible, because it can really have a huge impact on all of your existing KPIs. For example, now in the recession today, so teams are on the one hand having to expand the number of tickets they're able to they're able to respond to, and at the same time they're not able to expand their team. So how are they able to make that change in their capacity? And the answer to that is by adopting these AI solutions. Ginzi is obviously one of them, which really helps enable the existing team to do much more work, respond to many more tickets. So some of the things we're seeing is customers being able to respond to up to 2x the number of tickets. Okay. We're already seeing these results, and I think this is going to be something which is going to improve very significantly over time. So I think that the first thing which teams need to measure is their recurring ticket ratio. The more recurring tickets are, the more similar tickets are to one another, the greater value they're going to be able to generate from AI from day one.
So what you're saying with Ginzi is that Ginzi AI would go through all the historical tickets that they have in order to generate the kind of responses that the customer would most likely be getting from the agent. But at the end of the day, there is still an agent that can check and edit before they send things out. Is that what the...
Totally, exactly. So our solution isn't a chatbot, a classic chatbot solution. one of the things which we realized very early on in the process was that AI is still miles away from being able to fully deflect conversation. So there are obviously chatbots, but the large majority of them, what they do is they offer multiple choices. So you enter the system, and then you're able, you reach out to support, and then they give you 5 options. You choose one, they give you another 5 options. You choose one, and then you receive a support article, and that creates a suboptimal customer experience. On the other hand, AI chatbots, which really try and have a conversation with the customer, their ability currently nowadays, and this also relates to your previous conversation about challenges, to really resolve tickets is very limited. And the reason for this is that each customer support organization has different knowledge. So if, for example, we can expect over the very near future to see AI doctors which are able to diagnose issues, the diseases better than real doctors, we can already we're already seeing this. That's due to the fact that basically there is one form of Western medicine which everyone is familiar with, and they need to go to the same books, learn them, and based on that, they're able to generate answers. Here, each support organization has different knowledge, and every question requires a different answer. So no two companies are the same. And I think that is one of the big challenges here.
Okay, so in that case, Ben, I don't see AI, or from what you're explaining, I don't see AI as a threat. It is something that can complement a CX team or a customer experience or a customer service team, because in effect, you're not losing people on the team. You're not replacing them with any AI technology. As a matter of fact, you're just helping them get out of those monotonous answers over and over again and increasing their productivity. Did I get that right?
Yeah. So we've really taken an AI support assistant approach.
Right.
So what we focus on is in the sidebar of Zendesk environment or whatever application whatever channel you use to communicate with customers. So we're able to generate answers which can potentially help. They're suggested answers which help the agent respond more effectively. There are chatbots, but their ability to resolve these issues, as we discussed previously, is very limited. And that's why we've really focused on this AI support assistant, because its impact on the time in which teams are able to resolve questions. It improves CSAT very dramatically. Resolution time, first contact resolution rate. So all of these KPIs, the benchmark as a result of AI support assistant solutions is going to shift dramatically. And that's really what we're focused on at Ginzi, and we're extremely excited about.
Okay. KPIs are something I want to discuss a bit in detail with you next. So that's where I will be going. But just touching up on the AI subject, and when it comes to us, this is something that we have experienced as well at LinkPad, which is the AI support that we offer for multilingual translations is not there to replace anybody. But as a matter of fact, if you're a marketing team, a young marketing team, or a young CX team, and you're dealing with inquiries in different languages, you don't need to hire specialists in those languages to respond to those queries. You could do that with LinkPad AI technology that we provide. So we are on the same page as Ginzi's, which is AI is not a replacement tool. It is there to support you and support your team there. Right.
Yeah. And I'll just add to that I think the LinkPad are really located in an extremely hot space with all of these progresses in the space of AI.
Thank you.
So definitely exciting stuff to be doing.
Thank you. No, thank you. Coming back to the question on KPIs. Totally. We're in an age right now where KPIs, CX or customer service KPIs are already defined. CSAT is something we hear a lot of times. Resolution time, SLAs, etc., are very common words that we listen or we hear when we talk about customer service or customer experience. How is AI going to change that?
So we give a lot of thought to this at Ginzi, and I think that there are 2 key shifts. The first are the existing KPIs. The expectations and the benchmarks regarding to each of them are going to change very significantly. So whether it's resolution time, so we expect this to drop by half and even less. Cost per ticket, first contact resolution rate. So these are things which we've been discussing, and also CSAT. So ultimately, what we believe is that customers want responses to their questions immediately, and the responses to be correct. So if when AI is able to really help generate these things, so also CSAT is going to increase significantly. So that's the existing KPIs are going to stay, but the expectations regarding to each of them is going to shift very significantly. And then there are also going to be new KPIs, which are going to enter the market and become very exciting and interesting. So for example, support assist resolution ratio. To what extent are your tickets being resolved by a support assistant? AI deflection. To what extent are your AI tickets actually being fully deflected to what extent are your tickets being fully deflected by AI? And then there are going to be other things relating to, for example, customer tone. So negative sentiment ratio. What percentage of your tickets have negative sentiment? So there are going to be a new set of KPIs and metrics which are going to become interesting and relevant. We discussed it at the beginning of the conversation, recurring ticket ratio. To what extent are your tickets recurring? Currently, it's very hard to measure that. But with AI, pretty straightforward. You need the right solution able to really identify to what extent your tickets are recurring. Easy to show the huge value.
No, thank you, because this kind of opens up a lot of questions for not just people implementing that, but the current CX leaders as well. They now have new tools or different tools that they can use to improve upon. It's not just the same old CSAT scores, response times, and et cetera, et cetera. They can look into, I think from some of the KPIs that you mentioned there, I think it's a good measure of the agent's productivity as well. Don't you think so? How many tickets can an agent handle? How many of those are being answered by them using AI? And how much is it that they're actually spending time doing physical work on?
Totally. And one of the things which we do at Ginzi is when we offer companies on the onboarding phase, so just enable to show the value. So we're able to say to them, here, use Ginzi on one team, don't use Ginzi on another team, and let's see to what extent it improves their resolution time, how many tickets are they able to resolve in a month, and then it's very easy to show the impact we're able to make.
Will there be, can there be a case study, or is there like a real life example that you can share with us where this has actually worked and one of your clients has come back and reported this change and adapted the technology?
Totally. So I won't disclose the name of the company, but a gaming company with approximately 5,000 tickets a month. So the type of thing which we'd be able to show with them is that their team so they were growing quite rapidly. So they had only 5 people on their team, and they needed to respond to 5,000 tickets a month. And at that given moment, their resolution time was around 16 hours per ticket. Because what was happening was that the team weren't finishing yesterday's tickets, and it was just continuing. So what we really focused on was generating suggested answers. So they didn't create too many scenarios in the system. There was no setup time. But every time a ticket entered the system, Ginzi was presenting them with 7 different potential answers. And instead of then having to go generate an answer, start editing the macro, they were really able to access, to use Ginzi's suggested answers, click them, and start responding using that. And as a result, the resolution time was cut by half. And it also happened within the period of 2 weeks. So that was, I think, one of our big first success stories. And we're just seeing more and more of them as we continue moving forward.
Perfect. I mean, the scenario that you just described, and I was just calculating that in my mind, which was 5 people managing to bring down your resolution time from 16 hours to 8 hours within a matter of 2 weeks.
Yeah. So that I mean that is what companies can expect to start seeing from AI.
That is the power of technology, as they say. So,
It is.
okay. Another question just around that now, just around AI, that is. When it comes to implementation of something like Ginzi or any other AI tool, what do you think are the customers' challenges that they might face and that they should be prepared for? Because it's not a one-stop fix, right? It's not as if you click a button and everything's sorted. There has to be a change in the mindset as well. So from that angle, what do you think the company should expect when they adapt a technology like that?
So can I just can I ask, relating to your question, what do you mean by it's not a they can't just click a button and start generating the value?
No, apologies. What I meant by that is that it is not a fix for all the problems. So it's not as if, everything's going to get resolved with a click of a button. They still have to input, or they still have to do some things at the background, or they should have the right processes to support the technology as well. So
Right. So I think that it's important to actually emphasize the extent to which there isn't so much onboarding required and able to start generating value from AI.
okay.
So on the one hand, we do have an option in the Ginzi solution which focuses on certified answers.
Okay.
So if management or the knowledge team want to create certified answers, so instead of the agent seeing several different options, they'll see a single option, which in that case is always going to be the right answer. And obviously it will be contextualized based on the case. So that is something which requires a certain level of setup. Also way faster than the equivalent of creating macros in the past, but that does require a certain level of setup. But the most basic version of the value which Ginzi is able to generate, all it requires is plugging in the knowledge for over a period of 6 to 12 months. And then the AI is basically able to say, well, these two questions are very similar. This is the answer which you generated in the past. It was a great answer. It received a high CSAT score. It resolved the issue. These two customers also share very similar metadata. So they're located in the same geo, they're using the same package, etc. So this is probably going to be the correct answer to the question. And then based on that, you're able to use it, edit it, flavor it, also, which is powered by AI. And that really results. I think one of the things which people are shocked about relating to AI, and this isn't only related to Ginzi, but a large variety of tools, is the speed in which they're able to generate value. And that's what's leading to the mass adoption. Anyone who's using a tool which is based on these capabilities is really starting to see huge value immediately. With that said, I also just want to add to this that one of the things which I think are a challenge, and this is maybe from more of a product perspective, is that it would be a mistake to limit the value to the extent to which AI is able to generate value for support teams only to the generative component. So it's not only about giving flavor to text, making it sound a bit better, etc. I think that's a bit short-sighted. What one needs to think now is, there's a big new technology in the space of support. Mm-hmm. What is support going to now look like in 2 or 3 years' time with this new technology in the game? And that this is something which we're doing all the time at Ginzi. So, for example, it's not only from our perspective about helping make the answers sound a bit better and doing another bit of chat GPT within your support organization. It's helping customer support teams answer each question only once. And I think that is really our perspective of what support's going to look like in the future. So agents won't need to participate in the repetitive tasks anymore. And And I think that there will obviously be other perspectives and people who think that the future of support might be also different. But I think that having that vision of where is this taking us is crucial. It's not only about just being another nice feature within the support cycle, but it's really about creating something which is truly transformative.
No, thank you. That was quite informative that way. And the reason I brought that question up was because, again, it comes from the experience that we've had at LinkPad, which is implementation of technology with certain, when it comes to AI, with certain organizations or with certain technologies does take a lot of time. So you don't want to be waiting for that solution over a period of time. And I take it as the same with Ginzi as it's with LinkPad, which is you can derive the benefits of AI right from day one. So there's no setup time. You will not take months and months to collect all the data, input that into an algorithm or a software, and then it blurts out answers or gives you that. It can be done almost within a matter of hours or days or whatever the time is, as is with LinkPad as well. Another question that I have, and I think this is probably on the last bit of Ginzi that I'm discussing here with you, is customization. Right? Every organization is different. Every organization will have different categories of repetitive answers or repetitive questions that are being asked to you. How does Ginzi cater to this customization?
So that I think is one of the most exciting challenges when it comes to customer support and customer experience. And the way we do it is we basically learn all customer conversations over the past 6 to 12 months. So when a new customer onboards, so the first thing we do is the Ginzi engine extracts all of the conversations over the past 6 to 12 months. And based on that, it's able to start generating answers. So it's a unique answer generator per company. So once we've generated all that knowledge, the engine is also enabled to start, is really able to start generating really good answers. And that's something which already starts generating value basically from day one or day three. It's not something, so we don't need to start learning from now onwards, and then we're only able to start generating in 3 to 6 months, etc. It's from day one, we look back at all the historic conversations, and then we're able to start generating value immediately.
Again, I can see some real good value there. All those tickets that nobody would have read, all those conversations that are gone in the past out of your memory, because let's face it, if I'm an agent, I'll come to work today, I'm not going to remember a conversation that I had 3 weeks ago, right? So all of that data that has gone to waste, you're actually using that to learn. I mean, how you could find some gems in that data, don't you think so? That could have been lost, actually.
Totally. And for example, new agents with onboarding. So helping them ramp up, helping them identify what are potentially the correct answers. Often they just need to go and start reading endless Confluence documents, trying to understand what's the correct answer to the question, or ask someone senior on the team. So here, Ginzi is basically really able to help them resolve that. So totally.
Perfect. I think in the translation world, we call it a translation memory. So this is what LinkPad does, is basically just have a memory of all the translations that you've done in the past, so that when you go do some new translations, you really don't have to get something new. You've already got it done. So I can relate to what you're saying there, which is learning from what you've already done. Otherwise, that could have gone to waste. Okay, Ben, thank you. That actually brings us to the end of the formal interview there. But I do have a sort of a fun fact trivia questions at the end. Would you rather? Okay. So I have 5 questions. Just let me know what's there in your mind, what comes straight to your mind, and then we'll just touch up upon that a bit. Okay. So, would you rather the aliens that made first contact with us be robotic or organic?
What does an organic alien mean?
So, an organic alien.
They exist in outer space. They're basically equivalents to humans.
That's right. Yeah, something organic or completely robotic and AI. What would you like that first alien to be like?
I think it would be it would depend who owns access to the robots.
Okay, so AI take in that case.
Yeah, let's fly with them.
Okay. Would you rather be covered in fur or scales?
But
Fur?
I'm a huggy guy.
Yeah. Cozy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the next thing. Would you rather have one real get out of jail free card or a key that opens any door?
A key which opens any door. I'll never. I mean, I don't think I'll find myself in jail. I hope.
That's the waste of a card then.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next one. This is the fourth question. Would you rather know the history of every object that you touched, or would you be able to speak to animals?
Speak to animals is cool.
Okay. And the last one, I don't know if you I know you live in a city, you live quite urban, so this one really this one might really appeal to you. So, would you rather have all the traffic lights you approach be green all the time, or you never have to stand in a queue again?
Never need to stand in a queue.
Oh, you'd rather the traffic but not the queue.
Yeah, yeah. When you're in your car,
Yeah,
you're all's good, and also the queue is like very complex human interactions.
got you, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here in Israel, everyone's pushing in slightly in a good way, but
Okay. No, you're right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That was really fun having you. So thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best.
excellent.
Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you very
Ben
much.
Jacobs Ginzi. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you for watching this video in our podcast series. Please do let us know in the comments whether you like the video or if you have any suggestions. We have an amazing list of guests lined up for you in the coming few weeks. Please do like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you and see you soon. Bye-bye.